bringing you a little bit different of a webinar for the center. We're going to talk about all the TSMO activities that are going on at the 2018 Joint ITE International and Midwestern Great Lakes District Annual Meeting. We have a couple of speakers from ITE, 3 speakers associated with ITE. I'll introduce them momentarily. In the meantime, your phones will be muted throughout this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to use that question discussion pod that's there on the right-hand side of your screen. We will do Q&A throughout, so when you have a question, please go ahead and throw it in there, and we'll be sure to get an answer for you. I've also put up some links on the bottom left of your screen. Remember to register for the ITE annual meeting if for some reason you haven't yet. That's over there on the bottom left. A few NOCO resources, and then the Transportation Technology Tournament, which I'll be discussing at the end of this, is down there as well. For those wanting slides, they're posted right there. We are recording this, so it'll be available later this week for you to share with your colleagues and other folks who are interested in TSMO at the ITE annual meeting. So look out for that, or make sure to follow us on our YouTube channel, and you'll get updated when that's available. So again, we're lucky today to have 3 people who are going to preview the ITE annual meeting TSMO activities for us. We're going to hear first from Jeff Lindley, the Chief Technical Officer for ITE. Then we'll hear from Chris Milster, who's with Traffic Technology Services and also is the ITE TSMO Council Chair. He's going to talk about the TSMO Council in general. And then John Lauer, Vice President of ITERIS, is going to talk about some of the TSMO sessions that'll be taking place at the meeting. And then I'll finish up with the overview of the student activity that NOCO has been organizing with ITE and the Volpe Center, which is called the Transportation Technology Tournament. So we're going to go ahead and get started here with Jeff Lindley. And Jeff, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Adam. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys for a few minutes this afternoon about the ITE annual meeting. As Adam said, my job is to talk a little bit about the meeting in general and specifically about a workshop that we're having the day before the meeting that relates to smart communities that I think you'll find pretty interesting. So the meeting in general, 2008 Joint ITE annual meeting will be held in a couple of weeks in Minneapolis, August 20th to the 23rd. You see some statistics there up on the screen. We have a very robust technical program. We have technical sessions, poster sessions, 3 plenary sessions. Probably the one to highlight there is the middle session, which is on August 22nd. That's our power plenary session, and in that session we're going to have some folks come in and talk about how private sector transportation services are changing the face of transportation and how it's provided in cities. So we're going to have somebody from Waze, we're going to have somebody from Uber, and someone from Nice Ride, Minnesota, a bike share provider. Should be pretty interesting. We have 5 workshops and 5 technical tours. I'll be talking about one of those workshops here in a second. We have 7 technical pathways to guide you through the program based on your interest. One of those pathways is on TSMO, so you'll be hearing more about that from John in a few minutes. We have 16 council and technical committee meetings. Chris will be talking about the TSMO council meeting and what's happening there. We, of course, have an exhibit, a couple of demonstrations, and the National Operations Center of Excellence Transportation Technology Tournament, which Adam's going to cover at the end. The full program for the meeting, technical and otherwise, is on the ITE website. So if you just go to www.ite.org, there's a million different ways to get to the annual meeting site from the home page. So plenty of information there that I won't go into. I did want to spend a few minutes talking about the one workshop, the Building Smarter Communities Through Better Transportation workshop. That is being held all day on August 20th. It starts at 8 in the morning, goes till 4 in the afternoon, and it is focused on providing some information to public agencies and private agencies, private companies, on how to better engage in using the technology that's out there to advance the concepts of smart communities focused on a couple of specific emphasis areas. So we've got the day broken up into 3 parts. There's a morning session that is focused on connected vehicle deployment progress. That is being put together by US DOT, connected vehicle pilots that are underway right now that US DOT awarded a couple of years ago, and there's just a wealth of lessons learned from those pilots on what they've done, how hard it's been or how easy it's been. Trust me, it's been there's been some challenges. What they've learned in the process that might be useful to other folks that want to invest in connected vehicle technology, what they're learning in terms of evaluation results, early evaluation results. So that will go for the first couple of hours of the workshop. The middle portion of the workshop, which will span lunch, is on connecting problems facing public sector agencies with potential private sector solutions. And this is a session where we will have a series of 4 rotating table discussions where we will seek to match up public sector participants and private sector participants with some specific issues and problem areas that have been identified by the public sector. We sent out a survey to our public agency council to try and identify some key issues. We're going to use that to seed the discussion. We're going to use some input from the people that have signed up to seed the discussion. And the idea is to have a series of discussions where the public sector folks can talk about some of the issues that they're faced with, and the private sector folks can talk about some of the ways they may be able to help. There is an opportunity for private sector companies that are interested to host one of the table discussions, which will allow for quite a bit of dialogue with the public sector folks that will be in the room. And we still have some of those opportunities available if you're interested. Again, if you go to the website, look under workshops, you'll get some additional information on how to sign up for one of those. But we think it'll be an interesting and engaging discussion that will involve everybody in the room, and we'll talk about some pretty interesting issues and questions that are on folks' mind right now when it comes to technology and how it can better be used to address issues that cities and local communities are facing. And then the third part, which will close the day, the last couple of hours, is focused on autonomous vehicles and how public agencies can best prepare for the deployment of autonomous vehicles. This is sort of loosely a part of the FHWA dialogue on autonomous vehicles, on automated driving systems. And again, the purpose here will be we'll have a presentation that frames the issue of autonomous vehicles and where that is on a national scale, some of the things that are going on, and where we think deployment of AVs are headed. But most of the session will be devoted to hearing about and talking about the issues that are going to face public agencies as autonomous vehicles are deployed on their streets and on their transportation system. So there will be an opportunity for roundtable discussions. There will be an opportunity, kind of an open mic period, where folks can raise issues, and there will be plenty of time for discussion of those issues. We do intend to have a summary put together where we'll have some note takers and some folks that will be trying to capture the discussion in all three of these sessions that will try and capture and publish after the annual meeting for folks that aren't able to attend in person. But if you're interested in this, I'd encourage you to come to Minneapolis. If you're already signed up to come to Minneapolis, make sure you get here early enough to participate on August 20th. We think it'll be a really, really interesting and really fun way to start the ITE annual meeting. That's all I had for slides, Adam. I'll respond to the questions as we go along.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Jeff. If anybody has any questions they'd like to ask, please be sure to use that chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. We will gladly share those as we go along. And I'll invite Chris Milster to load up his slides and speak next here. Reminder, Chris is from Traffic Technology Services and is also the chair of the ITE TISMO Council. So he'll be talking about the TISMO Council here. And go ahead, Chris.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me okay? All right.
Perfectly.
Thank you, Adam. Well, I just want to say thank you to the Center of Excellence for setting this up. Being able to show all the fantastic TSMO opportunities at the annual meeting is a blessing, and I do thank you for taking the leadership in doing this, and everyone on the phone for giving us an hour of your day to show all the great TSMO opportunities up here in the next month or so. So I have a few slides that I'd like to kind of introduce the TSMO Council and what we're focusing on and how to get involved, especially not only at the annual meeting, but in future areas as well. So for this, I'd like to just show that the TSMO Council is one of the technical councils at ITE. The ITE is focusing on a number of different elements, and the TSMO Council is one of those elements. For the year of 2018, we're focused on 4 items. The first is the outreach of TSMO and promoting it with the Center of Excellence in this regard. The second is through this Connected Autonomous Vehicle Steering Committee, which we'll touch on later, as well as focusing on downtown delivery symposiums through our Urban Goods Movement Standing Committee, and then the Smart Communities Task Force. So these 4 focus areas are shaping our activities for 2018. But it's not only 2018, we're also looking a few years in the future. And the guiding principles of our council, the first is to work across council boundaries. So you saw the puzzle pieces in the slide before. We're tasked with working across boundaries, across disciplines, to promote better transportation and to work jointly in that regard. The second mission of our council is to promote council members. We understand that being involved in a TSMO council is a volunteer effort, and we want to promote the ideas and the initiative that folks have. The third thing is creating value to TSMO and to TSMO professionals. We're not out here just to kind of create things for our own benefit. We want to create value for the industry. And the last is foster and nurture new ideas. Always be looking, always be trying to be ahead of the game to promote new and figure out new TSMO ideas and challenges. So I'd like to go through our five areas. I showed 4 on the first slide. The last one's a general one. So the first is our outreach committee. This is chaired by Anthony and Elizabeth. And the activities that they do is really promoting TSMO, doing outreach, doing presentations to students. And if this is something you're passionate about, reach out so we can promote this to not only students but also to the transportation industry as a whole. The second focus area is through the Smart Communities Task Force. The chair is Yang Tao, and the vice chairs are Beverly Kuhn and Jeff Kupko. And if you've seen some of the quick bites that we've been doing, this is the committee that's the task force that's really been focused on that. They've also provided webinars at the beginning of the year, as well as IT journal articles. A lot of stuff is going on in smart communities. So if you're looking, if smart communities is kind of your thing, recommend you reaching out. We're looking at doing more quick bites, which are one-page bits of information about smart communities, about different topics like data and equity and public health and how smart communities fits into those. Share smart communities content within the ITE community and participate in the in-person task force meeting that's coming up, which I will talk about more. So I do apologize for a little bit of background information, background noise. The third item is a CVAV steering committee. This is chaired by Mr. Kusiemba. This is also another committee that has been doing a lot of work. Seeing some of the anything related to CVAV comes out of this committee. It's not just within TSMO. It's across the whole organization. It just resides within the TSMO organization. And if you're looking to get involved, please participate in person, share in the SPAT challenge, and contact Steve for more information. The fourth item is our Urban Goods Movement Standing Committee. This is a committee that has been gaining some steam. On the picture there, you see they did a downtown delivery freight symposium in New York City in July of this year. They've also been working on an ITE article for the upcoming journal. And there's a lot of great movement, no pun intended, with this committee. They're gaining some steam, and we look to folks who are interested in freight and passionate about it to share their activities and best practices on the IT community, and looking for that next urban freight symposium in an area. The last one is kind of the general items of what an ITE council does. Awards at the annual meeting, figuring out emerging issues. What are these areas that IT needs to be involved in in the future? And the way to get involved with this is to promote, looking at promoting colleagues for awards. So if there's a project you see as noteworthy of award, please send it in. We can never have too many nominations. We're also looking at what your thoughts are on emerging issues. Please, again, use the ITE community to share TSMO best practices and volunteer for upcoming webinars. So if you want to learn more, here are 5 items you can do. Attend a TSMO-related meeting. As Jeff said, there's 7 tracks, which John will get to in a second. But there are a number of meetings, and these are open to everybody. So please, I would strongly recommend just poking your head in, seeing what it's about, if you're planning on attending Minneapolis this year. Second is just reaching out to the executive committee, which we'll have a list here in a second. Third, if you're more social media inclined, use hashtags to promote TSMO activities and TSMO concepts. Participate in Center of Excellence events like this, which we'll get more information in a second. And really, if you got an idea, just let us know. If you got a topic that you think is relevant and you want to do something with, please feel free to shoot me an email or anybody on the executive committee, and we'll get you plugged in. And last, I just want to kind of give a recognition to the folks on the executive committee on here. These are folks that were not originally listed in the previous slides. And that, I will be on.
All right, thanks guys. Let me get my PowerPoint up. Got a half dozen sessions I want to draw your attention to. So everybody, I'm sure, is looking forward to get into Minneapolis. It is a delightful city. Great time to be in Minneapolis. We've got half a dozen sessions that are TSMO related. And the first one I want to draw your attention to starts right after the keynote, the mid-morning of August 21, Advancing the State of the Practice. We're going to have a panel comprised of FHWA participants and Virginia DOT presenting new traffic analysis tools. And they're going to focus on the user perspective. That is the typical ITE member, the user of these tools, on their application and potential value to practitioners. So you get an opportunity to spend an hour in the same room with the guys that are making the decisions on what new tools would be of value. And it is your opportunity to go be communicative of the desires on your street level operations. What tools would be of interest to you? As the National Operations Center of Excellence highlights, their intent is to deliver resources to save time for you, the operations guy at the local agency, and consultants assisting. So you're going to be in the same room as them. Bring your ideas, and I'm sure future research should flow out of that. A competing session with that is going to give consideration to how to mainstream TSMO into transportation organizations. And they're going to share best practices, successful approaches to make TSMO a core element of agency service delivery. You've got a rep of Federal Highway Administration, a consultant who does a lot of consulting to state and local agencies, and then an academic on the panel. So that's a real good mix for a panel. And if you want to dive deep into the conversation with them, I'd encourage you to go to the National Operations Center of Excellence website and take a perusal through an excellent document. That's the business case primer, communicating the value of transportation systems management and operations, making the case, the business case for TSMO. There is a competing session to this, and it is related to complete street session. And going to be talking about operations. So whatever comes out with complete streets has a technology element that falls upon the TSMO practitioner to operate and maintain. And so you might want to have someone from your agency also attend that. Next day, August 22 in the morning, another session. You can plan for it, and what I love about ITE is the focus on lessons learned, best practices and lessons learned. So here we're talking about disaster response and event management, giving consideration to planning and implementing traffic control strategies for special events associated with disaster and event management. So you'll hear perspectives, both post-event evaluation of successes and opportunities to improve. It's a big panel that we've got here, and I had to laugh when I saw Steve Mosing will be on the panel, because months before the Super Bowl, which was in Minneapolis, I gave him a call to start thinking through some potential demos, field demos that we could show the ITE members for practical application in their agencies. And I got the message back, call me after the Super Bowl. My whole full-time job now is focused on this event management. There's competing sessions, smart community session talking about using readily available tools for smart communities. And that implies smart sensors and how we roll those out. You can have smart sensors serving your detection needs at the signal, as well as aggregating data for use in identification and solving problems in smart communities. The afternoon of the 22nd will be a session on safe integration of rail transport. Again, considering best practices for developing and integrating safe grade crossings with focus on shared corridor projects. I'm proud to say that the panel includes Nadia Kim, who is my mentee at ITERIS. I would encourage all of the IT memberships, but especially the young members, to submit for presentation a project which you've been involved with, because that is really great for your career. The whole process of going through the ITE presentation is very valuable, both personally and professionally. If you're looking for another session, there are two competing sessions in this time slot. One dealing with connected and autonomous vehicles, real-world deployment and testing. So if you didn't get enough from the pre-ITE seminar on CAVs, here's an opportunity to get more. And then there's also a Vision Zero session, strategies for more intelligent speed management. And part of what they'll be giving consideration to is using this robust data being made available to the transportation community by the smart sensors being deployed to know the mode share of vulnerable road users along a corridor, and using that data to inform setting speed limits that are safe for all of the known users on that roadway. The afternoon of August 22, we're going to get into signs and signals and innovations within signs and signals, with the intent of improving transportation safety for all of the road users. That's not just vehicles, but peds and bikes and goods movement. So this consideration will be given to things like bike signals, how to use dynamic message signs to communicate the issues of today, and how automated vehicle location is being used to measure and improve signal performance. A couple more competing sessions that you might want to give consideration to: another connected autonomous vehicle applications session and a smart community session, giving consideration to the role of smart signals. And that means smart sensors that the TSMO professional is going to be operating and maintaining. So another opportunity to learn more about what our jobs are morphing into. Final session I wanted to bring your attention to is actually under the CVAV track, but very much related to TSMO professionals. This session is going to present the impact of connected and automated vehicle technologies on transportation planning, and view that from both a national and regional perspective. Well, what's underneath the national and regional perspective is the local perspective, which entails a number of the ITE typical members. So I hope you might show up in force and emphasize through your questions and comments the need for this planning to consider operations. Operations and maintenance are what make things happen, and we need to get involved at the planning level. And that concludes those slides. So look forward to seeing you guys in Minneapolis. Adam, back to you.
Thank you so much, John, and thank you, Chris, for the previous presentation. If anybody has any questions, be sure to put them there on the right-hand side of the screen. If you want to offer up your own suggestions for or feedback on the really great sessions that John just discussed, feel free to throw them in there. I know we have a few of our speakers who are on the line as well. So thank you again. I'm going to talk briefly about the Transportation Technology Tournament. I'm going to go ahead and show the website for the tournament, which you should be able to see up there now. So the Transportation Technology Tournament was started by the ITS Professional Capacity Building Program. And they, after working with universities, ongoing, they sort of determined that they wanted to encourage students at the university level, both undergrad and postgraduate, to work around or apply their skills in sort of in a teamwork, creativity, problem-solving style atmosphere, and to basically encourage students to think about real-world transportation challenges and how they could use their civil engineering or general engineering or even outside of those fields background to apply these problems. So we worked with the ITS JPO program, the PCB program, and we created this transportation technology tournament, which started back in February of 2018, and asked student teams to work with a specific agency, either state or local agency, to identify a real-world transportation problem that agency was facing, and then have the students come together to provide an ITS or TSMO solution around it. You can see up on the screen the 9 teams that submitted there and the participating agencies that they worked with. And as you can see, it was a variety of challenges that the students chose to tackle. They identified these problems and problem statements, and then they went through some training using some ITE and ITS JPO training modules and from our friends at SITE and a couple other modules to kind of beef up their ITS and their TSMO credentials. And then they went to working with academic and industry advisors to apply applications to these real-world problems that were identified. All 9 teams submitted fantastic written submissions. We were truly impressed. The judging panel that we have from NOCO and from the ITE folks, including Chris Milster, who you heard earlier, were impressed by just the ability for the students to come together and submit almost what essentially turned into RFPs around like a specific transportation problem. Only 4 teams were able to be selected. They're bold up there: Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, University of Texas, North Dakota State University, and Florida International University. These teams were selected as finalists to be sent to ITE in Minneapolis and present in person in front of our judges. So the Transportation Technology Tournament that will be at ITE will feature these 4 teams. Each team is made up of 2 to 4 students who will be there in person. They're going to do a 10-minute sort of Shark Tank style presentation around their solution to their problem statement, and then 5 judges who will be sitting up on stage will sort of, pepper them with questions as they go along, try to pick apart some of the architectures they developed, some of the assumptions that they've done, and see how the students respond. After all 4 teams present, the judges will select a winner, and the winner will be announced at halftime of the ITE Traffic Bowl, which will take place Tuesday evening. So again, this is taking place Tuesday, August 21st at 10:30 a.m., just after the plenary, in competition with a few of the great sessions that John outlined. And we encourage everybody to attend. It's a really great opportunity to see just what our students can do. And as we try to sort of improve the transportation workforce to meet these sort of more modern challenges, it's a great opportunity to see the benefits of encouraging students to tackle these real-world issues and do it in a team environment. Lastly, I'll say that again, all 9 of these teams developed really impressive submissions, and several of them, even those who aren't finalists, so will be presenting at ITS state chapters and other venues in the coming 6 months. So if you're interested in engaging with any of these students or having them come talk about their experience or the solutions that they identified, please feel free to contact us. The students are out there and continuing to present on the good work that they did. And again, that link to that website is there at the bottom left of the screen. I don't see any questions that have come up yet. If anybody has any questions, now is the time to put them in there. Again, look to the links on the bottom left. The ITE annual meeting link is there, as is the Transportation Technology Tournament link, and the presentations are available there as well. As I said earlier, this has been recorded, so it'll be available on our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us there, and you can share it with your colleagues and other people that you know who are going to be interested in TSMO-related activities at the ITE annual meeting. All right, it looks like our presenters did a fantastic job providing a perfect overview. No questions are coming in. So again, I'd like to thank Jeff Lindley, Chris Milster, and John Lauer for presenting. And Thank you for joining this NOCO webinar, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great day.